We're learning to be tool-safe.
Watch this video to find out the safety guidelines for this procedure.
In the kitchen, one of the most important jobs we have is to keep everyone safe from food contamination or poisoning. This means doing all we can to make sure the food we are serving is safe to eat.
This video will look at direct and cross-food contamination and how we can control it in our kitchens, at home, school, or commercial settings.
You may have heard of food problems such as salmonella or E. coli. These are just a couple of names of foodborne illnesses that can make us sick. They are often referred to as food poisoning.
75% of foodborne illnesses are caused by improper temperature control. 20% are caused by cross-contamination. Both of these things are easily controlled by the food service worker.
To ensure safety from the start, workers should wear an apron to protect themselves and the food they are preparing. Aprons should be tied in the back.
If you have already been handling foods and your apron comes undone, have someone tie the back knot for you. Students are also advised to wear gloves for certain processes with food handling or using cleaning products.
Hands should be washed frequently while you are in the kitchen, whenever they are potentially contaminated by food or utensils.
You need to first wet your hands, then apply soap, then lather for a minimum of 20 seconds, then rinse soap off. Dry your hands with paper towels and turn taps off using the paper towel, not your clean hands. Direct contamination is the contamination of raw foods in their natural settings, like blood from raw meat dripping onto lettuce greens on a lower shelf below.
To prevent this from happening, raw meats should be stored on the bottom shelf.
Cross-contamination occurs when bacteria is transferred from other sources like food service workers, tools, and even pests to the food being cooked.
Raw food and ready-to-eat foods should never share the same cutting board.
Ideally, color-coded cutting boards should be used to avoid contamination. Many kitchens use the following color code system: green for vegetables and fruit, yellow for raw poultry and chicken, red for raw meats, blue for raw fish and seafood, black for cooked meats, and white for bakery and dairy.
To avoid bacterial contamination that may exist in foods like meats or seafood, foods need to be cooked to prescribed internal temperatures. A probe thermometer is a great way to check the internal temperature of food. Be sure to sanitize the thermometer between uses. Chefs often sanitize thermometers with an alcohol swab, rinsing it with water, then inserting it into food.
Sometimes we can get busy in the kitchen, and we want to work fast. Cutting raw meat and then moving on to making sandwiches on the same counter without sanitizing in between is a sure way to spread bacteria.
We keep mentioning sanitizing, but how do we do that? One way is to add a prescribed amount of bleach to water for treating different surfaces.
Your teacher will have a recommended concentration and dilution mix chart for using bleach or other disinfectants in your kitchen, depending on the types of equipment and frequency of their use.
Reviewing cooking and storage container temperatures is vitally important. Your teacher will indicate reasons for cleaning with hot or cold water.
It's important to match cleaning methods to the tools and materials. Cleaning processes are different for wood, metals, ceramics, and plastics.
Make sure you read the MSDS, or Material Safety Data Sheet, for bleach use in the kitchen, and for any other disinfecting products that are provided at school. Take note of the precautions you need to take in handling these chemicals.
Many kitchens use a vinegar solution spray or salt for disinfecting.
Make sure all your containers are clearly and properly labeled, as people eating should not be ingesting any cleaners or other toxins from a professionally cleaned kitchen.
Cleaning products must be kept separate from food products at all times. Every professional facility must have an MSDS binder to review for all chemicals used at that facility. Don't mix anything you're not sure of either, as some can create toxic fumes.
For example, it's not good to have excessive bleach concentration in contact with different cooking surfaces without proper water rinsing. Your food should not taste or smell like bleach.
Sanitizing is a way to reduce pathogenic organisms to safe levels. One example of a good way to sanitize is to add 1 teaspoon of bleach into a liter of water. Wipe on the clean surface and allow to air dry.
Being aware of allergens also has become a reality in today's food service environments.
Your teacher will familiarize you with the more common allergens, and many kitchens have lists of regulars that have special needs and special menus preparation spaces, and supply storage. Many people suffer from food allergies, and we need to ensure that cross-contamination does not occur in the kitchen.
For example, you would never slice an apple with the same knife after chopping nuts.
If an allergen comes into contact with other food, it can cause serious illness or even death. Many people have food limitations such as gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan, or not eating certain foods or combinations of foods based on culture, personal, or religious beliefs.
It is a good practice to use signage to communicate the working standards at your kitchen, and to be a constant daily reminder to staff.
If you're ever unsure whether an area has been cross-contaminated, check with your peers and teacher in the area.
Usually, at the end of a certain time period, a thorough routine cleaning sanitization should be conducted. You may want to check a kitchen task completion chart.
Sneezing and coughing has to be controlled and requires more specific sanitation.
Many workers who feel sick are smart and will check themselves out of a food preparation environment to be respectful of the people they are cooking for.
It's especially important for proper hand washing and hygiene rules to be followed after using the restroom.
Some people don't realize that their clothing is touching surfaces and food as well.
That's why a clean kitchen uniform plan is so important, including hair nets when appropriate and long hair tied back for safety around kitchen equipment as well.
Review the signage in your kitchen for proper tool and dishwashing procedures. By working together, we can help to keep the kitchen and the food we serve tool-safe from cross-contamination. Let's review.
Note kinds of food cross-contamination risks. Review sources and causes of food poisoning. Think about contact with all different kinds of surfaces in a kitchen, including clothing fabrics, equipment metals, glassware, counters, storage areas, and tools. Remember hand washing steps, hygiene, and respecting your clients if you are sick. Go home. Refer to MSDS sheets and task completion charts for cleaning and sanitization procedures. And if you're not sure about anything for safety, ask your teacher for more direction.
And don't forget to be tool safe.